Yeah, I read the question. It's like a test of how humble you are or not. I don't know if I could say I'm the most qualified candidate. That kind of depends on what you want. I know what I bring to the table, and what I bring to the table is the experience of a trade school teacher, the experience of a person who's volunteered for the last 20 years in public schools, small schools, and charter school, and the background of somebody who's tried to work the various forms of the system as a parent of two children whose Spanish-speaking ability I've tried to preserve using our system. I have certain priorities, and I have an attitude as to how I will do the job of school board, and I think that's the thing that needs to be paid most attention to. The attitude of being available for the constituent service side of it, to me, is very important. I think that being available to the constituents is as important as the policies that a person has. And the other part of it is having a practical attitude on how managerial things are done. The board is the managerial oversight part of the Oakland Unified School District. What attracts me to the job is I would like to see the school district better managed.
Thank you. The next question is from Lacey.
Hi, my name is Lacey. I'm the CEO of Moving Forward Education and one of the commissioners on the Measure N committee. My question for you, to your point, is about priorities. What is your understanding of the district's current priorities? And what are 3 personal priorities that you would bring to the role and why are those important to you?
You know, I go to the board meetings and at times, and I read everything I get from the board. I'm on Jody London's list, and a few other people send me the stuff, and the priorities all sound fun. I don't know if this is the kind of thing that we do as a priority-based system, because in the logic of how public administration has been done recently, a lot of the secondaries get dropped. So I think there's a lot of secondary things that need to not get dropped. If I was going to name 3 things that I would focus on that I think could be done better in the schools, one is infrastructure. Like I said, I volunteered in the system for 20 years. I'm very upset with the way the infrastructure is handled, especially IT. For a day job, I run an IT company. But other things, inventory, stuff like that. I think there's an attention to the details of good management that I would like to see paid attention to. And another thing I would really like to see is the return to the concept of electives. I really feel that electives in your local school, they might be elective. That doesn't mean they're unimportant or forfeit. Things like civics, shop, having a science room, things where the students can get themselves involved in these identifier projects, which are now kind of, they're tenuous. We have nonprofits helping, we have individual-based projects. We are not systematically making sure that every student has the ability to join a club or do something that may not fit within the standard testing protocol, but is very important to a student having a good experience during their school years and identifying with something. And if there's another priority, just to make 3, I personally feel very strongly about the use of foreign language. I don't think that the teaching of foreign language should be optional, and I don't think the teaching of Spanish should be optional. We're not in some other state. We're not on the border of France. We are in California, right? We're in the city of Oakland. 1 person in 4 in the city of Oakland speaks Spanish in one form or another. And I just feel that as Americans, as people who live here and live our reality, good education for all of our students, no matter what your native language is or where you come from, should include Spanish. And that linguistic education is something we could do a lot better. And I've had some experience with it myself, and I would like to see us, if I had things that I would focus on as a board member, those would be them, but not at the expense of other things. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question comes from Ruth and Kyle.
Hi, I'm Ruth Jones. I'm a teacher at Edinburgh Middle School. I'm also one of the Go Teacher Policy Fellows.
I'm Kyle Swingen. I'm at Oakland International High School, which is in District 1, and
It's around the corner from my house.
all right on. I am also a teacher policy fellow. We believe that effective teaching matters. We fought for the teacher growth and development system, a comprehensive teacher support system to help educators improve their practice. The Go Teacher Policy Fellows advocate for improved early career supports for new teachers and career pathways for more experienced teachers. During the last school board elections and the OUSD OEA negotiations last year, we advocated that increasing teacher compensation has to be among our top priorities.
But there's still much to do in this area. Year after year, about 20% of OUSD teachers are in their first or second years of teaching, which is double the rate of most neighboring districts. We can't afford that level of turnover, especially in the face of a dire teacher shortage. We need better to support our educators so they can better serve our students. You will have 4 minutes to answer the following question. In addition to increased pay, which every candidate supports, what are the best ways to increase student access to effective teaching? What will you specifically do as a board member to make effective teaching a true priority?
Yeah, I read that. Thank you for this advanced warning on the questions. There's nothing you just said that I disagree with. The devil's in the details. And as a parent who's volunteered in the schools, and as a person who teaches at the adult level, my background and training is I teach adults in vocational education. I have a lot of admiration for you guys. And frankly, I've been asked in earlier public events, like, you know, how are we going to control and basically punish our bad teachers? And I don't go for that. What we're asking our teachers to do right now is nearly impossible. And my belief is that y'all need a break. There's too many kids in those classrooms. You don't have the support staff. And if there's something that I've really learned to appreciate watching you guys do your job, as you've educated my 2 sons, is that support staff's really important. If a child is having problems being in the classroom, to have someone in another room, a counselor or whatever it is, often somebody in the office, able to actually work with these children, right, so that they just don't come back in a bad mood. So other support staff isn't obviously support staff. Having a qualified team handling the playground so that the play is fair, so that it's rewarding, so the kids get their time away from sitting at a desk in a way that makes them feel better. So when they come back to the classroom, they have had a break, and you've had a break, right? Is very important. And I've seen what happens when you have a qualified, coach, basically is what we call them, and when you don't. And if the kids are out on the playground and they're getting into fights and they're not being disciplined, the play is unfair, kids are being ignored, and any teacher here knows what that's like when that kid comes back into the classroom. They bring those problems back. And I think of that as support. Having the teacher not have a break and be out there with a whistle to control the door, to do that, all the understaffing jobs that's wrong at teachers. So when I said teachers need a break, they need a break. And then I would dialogue with the teachers directly, is what kind of break do you need? We're never going to make working as a school teacher a highly paid job. It can be a better paid job, and there are some benefits to it, and time off is one of those benefits. It's one of those benefits that I think should be respected. I think we should stop scheduling things in your time off. And making sure that you have the breaks that you want, and maybe a certain amount of job rotation. I've worked with second grade students. It's intense. You might want to be an office worker for a semester just to get a break from it. The office might benefit from having a qualified teacher in there doing support work. You might need to combine that with maybe some training. And I'll finish it. The training development part, I think, is kind of backwards. I think the most training is needed for K-1. And the specific training, understanding the the developmental needs of our children at the various ages, I think is one of the biggest challenges for a teacher. Even if we were funded, if everything was great, you would still be trying to figure out if you could get those 13-year-olds to work in a group, or you had to keep them separated, right? Thank you, Mike.
Next question is from Autumn.
Good afternoon, Don.
Good afternoon.
I'm Autumn McDonald, and I'm a member of GO's Leadership Council, and I'm also a parent of two young folks who will eventually soon be open school students. The power of community is one of GO's core values. It is the foundation on which long